Welcome to my revised distraction guide. Today I will be improving upon a distraction guide I made about 6 months ago. This guide will be a combination of a lot of my guides, those being the original distraction guide, the twisted combination guide, and partially the map guide on where to distract. If you find this video helpful, please subscribe as I make guides like this all the time and I'm trying to reach 50k by the end of the year and it would mean a lot. For those new to distracting or kiting, I'll go over the basics. Just a disclaimer, I'm going to use the word kiting or distracting interchangeably in this video. They basically just mean the same thing. Kiting is where you purposely lead the twistids away and distract them so that your teammates can extract machines. This is a very commonly utilized strategy, and I'm sure if you played in a public lobby literally ever, you'll see someone asking like, who distract? Distractors are not required for survival, but highly incentivized for making it far. The stats of a toon is usually what depicts the role when it comes to distracting or extracting, or sometimes either of them. Ideally, you want high movement speed and low stealth. Speaking of stealth, let's discuss the stat as it is absolutely mandatory you understand stealth as a kiter. Stealth is the chasing priority of twistids, to put it simply. Lower stealth, the higher priority you are to the twistids. If you are Louis, for example, you have 2-star stealth, meaning the twistids will stay on you as long as they maintain line of sight, and the toons around the twistids are higher stealth than you. So for example, a Poppy won't get twistids on her if a Louis has twistids on him and is not breaking line of sight, no matter how close Poppy is to the twistids. If you have matching stealth, the twistids target the closest toon. As for movement speed, some twistids are very fast and require a lot of movement speed to kite successfully without getting hit. I'll discuss every twisted in a moment, but for now let's talk about the best toons for kiting based off of stats. Any 4-star movement toon can kite with ease with the right trinkets. You're going to want to use Louis, Goob, or Pebble for distracting generally, although here are some alternatives that are more accessible to early game. For newer kiters, I highly recommend getting Dog Plush and Speedy Shoes, Dog Plush being unlocked by Toodle's research, and Speedy Shoes being an easily accessible shop trinket. As a kiter, you want to focus on walk speed, as you don't want to deplete in stamina. The higher your walk speed multiplier, the better, as run speed generally does not matter as much when kiting. Now let's discuss twistids in order of rarity. To start, we have the commons. Commons are twistids that do not have gimmicks. They serve as filler, twistids just to be small obstacles that are easy to counter. Some are a little different, but they all function the exact same. The basic commons are Boxton, Poppy, Cosmo, and on specific events, Exon and Rudy will appear. Now there are some commons that vary in their behavior, but don't have a real gimmick. Shrimpo, Louie, and Brusha all have longer vision than the average common twisted. Shrimpo and Louie have the same vision, but Brusha is one of the newest twistids and has the longest vision in the game. It's similar to that of Twisted Pebbles, so be careful of lower stealth toons stealing her line of sight. Tisha's behavior is slightly different as she just idles for way longer than other twistids. Just keep an eye out for sneaky Tishas hiding in corners as she can be annoying to find. Finally, we have Yada and Shrimpo again. These twistids vary in speed. Yada is faster than all the commons and Shrimpo is slower. To make things more simple from now on, I will explain twisted speed on a scale of units. In Dandy's world, speed is based off of units. For example, your average common speed is 18 units of chase speed. This is standard. Chase speed is how fast the twisted is when they are chasing you, plain and simple. So from now on, when I'm talking about a twisted, I will put their movement speed on screen and mention if it's important. Yada has 19 units of movement speed, while Shrimpo has 16.5. Yada also wanders slower than any other twistids, so she could be harder to gather. These are all the commons, but now let's move on to twistids with gimmicks. The uncommons are made to slightly inconvenience you, however do not pose much of a threat. Brightney has a slightly longer vision, but that's about it. She glows in blackouts and rerolls the blackout chance on a floor, so if you had a 25% chance for a blackout and don't roll it the first time, she will reroll it a second time. If she makes a floor blackout, you'll hear an electrical glitching and the lights will turn off. Finn is one of the slowest twistids in the game, only having a chasing speed of 15.5. Don't let him fall behind as it's very easy to lose him, especially look out for this twisted in blackouts as it's very easy for him to corner check you. He applies slowness 3 to any toons that finish a machine for 5 seconds. Twisted Tegan is just an above average twisted, slightly longer attention and slightly higher speed. She'll take a portion of your tapes if she hits you, so if you're gonna get hit, don't let it be Tegan. Then we have Toodles, who has no gimmick but is abnormally fast. Her attention is very bad, so don't let her lose line of sight of you or she will get off very quickly. She's also hard to spawn in blackouts, so beware of that. During the Christmas event, Twisted Ginger will be uncounterable. She is the slowest twisted in the game, but has a very long attention span. Keep her off of extractors as much as possible and try not to lose her. Loop in a small area to keep her on you. During the Easter event, Twisted Flight will be uncounterable. This twisted, although below average speed, will never stop moving at his chasing speed. Some twistids idle around the map, but Flight will always be moving at the same speed as his chasing speed. This doesn't impact distracting, however. You can just distract him like any other common. Finally, we have stationary twistids. Razzle and Dazzle and Roger. Roger is a passive until activated, so look out for his fake capsule based off the gray straps. If there's no gray straps on a capsule, it is Roger and you should not grab it. In blackouts, be extra cautious of Roger capsules. Razzle and Dazzle, or R&D, is also a passive twisted. He has a circle around him and he will get enraged if you run inside his circle. Do not run in the circle, as every toon that is in line of sight of R&D will get hit. You can avoid a hit by getting out of LOS, but regardless, I'd avoid making this twisted angry at all costs. Only run if you must to avoid getting hit. Hi, I'm editing. Somehow I managed to forget to mention Connie during during this voiceover. So anyways, Connie basically just goes from machine to machine and possesses them, and if someone tries to extract from a possessed machine, they will just get hit. You don't have to worry about Connie as a distractor, just completely ignore her. With the uncommons out of the way, we can discuss the rares. These Twisteds are harder than the mains to kite at times, and their entire purpose is to be hard to deal with. Rares get harder to find than the mains the further you go, generally past floor 20. To start, we have Goob and Scraps, the hardest Twisteds in the game to deal with. It's generally gathering that is the hard part with these Twisteds, as once you have a hold of them, they are not that hard to deal with. Twisted Goob and Scraps function almost the exact same. They will reach out and try to attack upon spotting you, so to counter this you need to break line of sight or to get far away enough so that they don't hit you. Beware of these Twisteds and Blackouts as they can be very fatal. Once you have them, find a small island to loop around, as these are generally the easiest to deal with them on. You usually don't have to time avoiding their attacks on smaller islands. If you can't find a circular or small island, then find a long island and run behind the island when they go to attack to bait them. Once you learn how to consistently do this, crafts are not that difficult. It's only hard once you pair them with other Twisteds, but more on that later. Now we have what I like to call the craft's long lost cousin, Gigi. Twisted Gigi, although she won't hit you with her ranged attack, will steal an item from you if she grabs. You can cut LOS to avoid getting your item grabbed, but her attack is a lot faster. On top of that, Gigi's movement speed is above average, making her a pain to deal with. You can distract her just like crafts, but it's hard if you are not a fast toon. Twisted Flutter functions the exact same as Twisted Flight, just being faster. Twisted Coal is encounterable during the Christmas event. She is basically harmless in non-blackouts, being very slow. However, if you are unfortunate enough to roll her in a blackout, strap in, because she goes from the second slowest Twisted in the game to one of the fastest. She has no audio cues, no glow, nothing. If she spots you, there's literally no way to know. You cannot distract her as a normal Twisted. You need to do a specific strategy called looping. This is also used on Pebble, but more on that later. Find a medium-sized island and make sure it's one that the Twisted won't try and pat the other direction on so they don't juke you. If you hug the island and go around it, she'll be slower due to her collisions and won't be able to catch up easily. You cannot have commons on you while doing this, so make sure you have a backup distractor to take any other Twisteds on the floor whilst you do this. Twisted Coco is encounterable during the Easter event. This Twisted is similar to Toodles, as she's just very fast with low attention. Twisted Blot and Glisten are passives for the most part, but function differently. Twisted Blot lays dormant in a random spot on the map, but places hands randomly around the map. Be careful of these, especially in blackouts. These can often disrupt common kiting spots, so listen for the sound he makes when he moves them. Otherwise, just ignore him. Twisted Glisten requires a toon to be in his vicinity to calm him based off of a meter on the top of his head. Whenever this meter diminishes, or in panic mode, he will shatter and run around quickly, very similar to Flutter. He is very fast and has a long attention, so do not let him spot you and don't let him shatter early. Let someone else on your team comfort him while you distract, as this is generally safer, but if you have lower stealth than your teammates, then you can comfort him. Now finally, we can move on to the mains. The mains are generally hard to come by, but the odds of encountering them increase as the floors go higher. Every 5 floors, main odds increase, and this continues forever. It may sound scary, but mains are actually very easy to distract if you know what you're doing. To start, let's discuss debuffs. Many mains give you debuffs upon spotting you, or just in general. There are currently 4 debuffs in the game, these being Illness, Slowness, Tired, and Confuse. Illness decreases skill check size and makes your skill checks faster. Slowness makes you slower, Tired makes you regenerate stamina slower, and Confuse makes you extract slower. If you don't remember what a status effect does, just remember the color of the icon is based off of what the stat is affecting. Anyways, with that, we can discuss Twisted Astro. Upon sighting you, Astro will give you the Tired 3 debuff. This debuff on its own is not that deadly, but it can be a nuisance paired with other Twisteds that required you to run or stam tap. Just be cautious of him when paired with other Twisteds, but on his own, he's very simple and functions like Yada, for example. He will keep reapplying this debuff, but keep in mind you do have a few seconds of downtime when your stamina regen is not debuffed. So use this time wisely and try not to run if you can help it to regen stamina. Now we have Twisted Shelly. Twisted Shelly has very similar stats to Toodles, but her attention is higher. She also gives everyone on the floor the Confuse debuff, which makes the floor take longer. This doesn't affect you, letting you distract like normal. Just keep your distance and don't take sharp turns, as she has a big hitbox. Onto Twisted Sprout. Twisted Sprout is the slowest main, and he places tendrils on you every 8 to 10 seconds. Do not let him block your way with the tendrils, just avoid them and place them out of the way as much as possible. He can only have 2 tendrils on the ground at once, and shortly after one fades, keep in mind he will be placing another one soon. Use the widest area available to distract him, the more space the better. Twisted V and Pebble are the most threatening Twisteds in the game. Twisted V applies the slowness 2 debuff to you upon sighting, and will keep reapplying it as long as you are in her line of sight. Every time she slows you, you get an advertisement that you need to close. Every minute or so, she will also give you 3 additional pop-ups to close. Close these as fast as possible and as to not obstruct your vision, and use a large space to kite her. Run ahead while you are not slowed to get the most out of your stamina, and then walk while she has you slowed. Stam tap if you have to so you don't get hit. V can be a huge problem paired with faster Twisteds, so just be careful of them. If you can't handle her with faster Twisteds, have a backup take them for you. Finally, we have Twisted Pebble, the most dangerous main. If you remember, you can distract him just like Cole. He's incredibly fast and has the furthest vision in the game. Do not let him spot other players while you're looping him, as it's incredibly easy to lose him. Ask your teammates to stay away from you out of line of sight of Pebble. Find an island in a secluded area with little to no line of sight so he doesn't get on your teammates. As for the event mains, we have Bassie and Bobette. Bobette can be encountered during the Christmas event, and she is particularly fast. Despite this, she can be distracted by 5-star movement tunes with little to no issues. Just get a large space so that you don't lose your commons or other twisteds. If you are a 4-star movement tune, loop her around an island like Twisted Pebble or Cole. Twisted Bassie can be encountered during the Easter event. She will place 3 flowers around the map that greatly slow down anyone who walks through them. Avoid these flowers at all costs. Bassie herself is easy to distract, being the same speed as Twisted Yada. Finally, we have the lethals. Now, before Dial got added, this was way simpler, but now with the addition of Dial, we have the first ever genuinely undistractable Twisted. To cover Dandy quickly, he spawns when you don't buy from Dandy 3 times or more, and he gets more likely to spawn the longer you don't buy from him. When he spawns, he will play music as he wanders. His attention is very long, so it should be easy to keep him on you. Don't let him get on other people and use a wide open space to distract him, as he is very large. You cannot get hit by him, or else you will instantly die, regardless of your health. Now for the real reason most people are watching this video, Twisted Dial. To put it bluntly, you cannot distract him. Twisted Dial gets faster the longer he spots you, correlating to a meter on the top of his head. The wiki says his max speed is 35, but I think it's way higher. He's insanely fast at max and range. The real strategy to dealing with Twisted Dial is to distract the commons on his floor. Keep in mind, you are guaranteed to get 3 commons on a Dial floor, no matter how late you encounter him in a run. Follow closely nearby him, and keep track of his location for your extractors. If he spots you, quickly break LOS as his attention is very short. If you get a fully enraged Dial on you, keep a box of chocolates handy to run away. You need to eat at least 3 chocolates from a box to get away. Cut as many corners as possible as this glitches him and makes him slower. You used to be able to kite him as Bassie with Dogbone and Feather Duster, but Dogbone is now nerfed. There's still some stupid strategies to kite him, but they aren't actually viable in long runs, so simply avoid him. In the case someone messes up a skill check, find a secluded area away from where he is, as messing up a skill check will easily fully enrage him, making him wander and chase very fast. Twisted combinations get pretty complicated pretty fast, but I'll go over the basic ones that you need to be cautious of. Main combinations get very common past floor 30, but the main threat you actually have to worry about is something usually called Trinity. This consists of V, Astro, and Shelly. This combination in particular is difficult because V slows you down and Shelly is very fast, making you run, which makes it so Astro is more of a problem due to his stam regen debuff. An easy way around this combination is using Train Whistle on Pebble or Louie in place of Speedy Shoes. You can do this on a 4-star movement tune as well, but keep in mind you'll be slower than Shelly, so you'll still have to stam tap. Louie will be about the same speed, and Pebble will be 2 units faster. Generally, you can just use Train Whistle and Dog Push on Pebble because this is enough speed to deal with most combos besides Twisted Pebble combinations. Throwing Sprout in there can also make this harder, but it shouldn't increase the difficulty too much if you use an open area. Mains are not the only ones that can be annoying in combinations, however. Rares are just as obnoxious, if not more. Goob and Scraps make for some really annoying combinations, and there's no real way around them. Your biggest threats with Goob and Scraps is paired with Sprout. This is because you have to place tendrils away from the island you're looping, while also breaking line of sight to juke their attacks. I would generally not attempt this combination and have a backup distractor take one of them to just split them up. If you really have to deal with this combination though, I would recommend using 2 islands so you have consistent places to cut line of sight. The same goes for V. V is really hard to manage with a craft sibling as you have to also deal with slowness while juking craft attacks, and it takes a lot of stamina. Craft siblings paired together is also quite a painful combination. I generally split them up, but you can deal with them at the same time. This is rare to encounter though. Like, I don't even have footage of me doing this, so you don't have to worry about this combination too much, but if you do get it, just split them up. V and Pebble is probably one of the most requested Twisted combinations to go over, and before this recent update, it wasn't really worth trying unless you were 1-heart Louie. Now with the addition of Train Whistle, you can try and kite this if you want, but keep in mind you'll probably need an Astro to sustain yourself anyways. You would use a large open space as Louie with 1 heart and Dog Plush and try your best to keep everything on you. However, this isn't really a viable strategy, and you're just better off letting a backup distractor take Pebble while you deal with V. On top of these Twisted combinations, you do have floor events. The 2 in the game right now are Ichor Leaks and Blackouts. These floor events do not stack unless you get Brightney to reroll a Blackout chance on an Ichor Leak. Ichor Leaks are easy to work around. The puddles give Illness 3, but that doesn't impact kiters in the slightest, so just look out for the puddles as they do give you a 75% speed debuff while you are inside them. Blackouts are the real problem. When entering a blackout, keep an eye out for any craft siblings and pick up capsules as you make your way through the map to figure out what's on the floor. If you are especially nervous or unsure in blackouts, I'd recommend using a V on your team to scan the floor. As for where to kite, it's generally really simple. On almost every map, you should distract extraction near the broken elevator on the floor. If you need a specific spot clear of machines, tell your extractors to get those machines first, especially if your teammates have V-motes. Sometimes you'll have to kite somewhere else depending on the combination, so don't be afraid to take up the space you need to kite. Extractors should usually work around you, not the other way around. Of course, if you are obstructing a machine, you're gonna need to move. Hi, I'm editing. For some reason I didn't really touch on trinket combinations that much in this script, so I'm just here to make it more clear as to what trinkets you should be using while you are kiting. Dog plush and speedy shoes is like the most standard kiting set you can have. It generally works really well. It gives you a lot of walk speed, it's very helpful. But keep in mind there are other combinations that are just as viable, if not more. If you have a kiter partner, like if you're kiting with someone, one of you can run ribbon spool while the other runs clown horn, and then you can both have dog plush. And this will make it so that on either your floor or their floor, one of you will have a significant speed boost. It does come with the downside of the other one being slower, but usually it does not matter as the fast one could just deal with the fast twisteds. You could also run train whistle, which is actually very useful. A lot of people seem to not understand how good train whistle can be, and it's mainly because they don't understand that the main reason kiters have to be faster is because of twisteds like V that slow you down. So as long as you're playing like Pebble or like Louie, generally you can just run train whistle instead of speedy shoes and you'll be good. On top of that, it also helps you deal with more twisted combinations than if you didn't have it. So you know how you saw me earlier kiting V and scraps? You usually can't do that very easily if you are not running this trinket. It just opens up some easier options, and also it makes it so that if you happen to get slowed with like Pebble on you or something, it won't slow you and you can get away safely. But that's about all the information I can share on how to kite in Dandy's world. I hope this guide was more helpful than my previous one. I feel like I covered a lot more information in this one, and if you found this helpful, please subscribe. It would mean a lot. Anyways, bye-bye. Twisted Flutter functions the exact same as Twisted Flight, just being slightly faster. Holy shit! Dude, what is this? This lightning is obnoxious.